Hi, team, and welcome to our next screencast on Vietnam. Today, we're going to be discussing the enemy and the tactics that they used in order to fight against the United States. So we left off with this slide looking at the Viet Cong, which is going to be the group of Vietnamese people living in South Vietnam who are fighting against the United States. They're the ones who are dressed as everyday farmers, peasants, looking like they're just out doing their everyday jobs in the fields, but in reality, they're mapping, they're planting mines, they're plotting against the United States. American soldiers are going to start to call them Charlies as a nickname, right? The Ho Chi Minh Trail is going to be a way that Ho Chi Minh, who's the leader of North Vietnam, is going to supply the Viet Cong in South Vietnam. As you can see on the left-hand side, there's this very covered by jungle trail that's going to be happening from North Vietnam into South Vietnam. You can see on the right-hand side, there are jeeps there that are traveling. We did not know what the exact trail was. It was hard for us to find it. It changed frequently, but in essence, it started from North Vietnam, traveled through Laos, and it had different points where it would break off into South Vietnam in order to provide resources. This is the way that they kept the Viet Cong going, with the support of the Viet Cong, so that they had the resources and the technology necessary in order to fight against the American soldiers, as well as food and survival. The Viet Cong lacked weapons, right? Although they're being supplied by North Vietnam, it's difficult for them to bring in, bombs and planes and things without being noticed. So the South Vietnamese Viet Cong were very dependent on booby traps. They would dig holes in the ground and they would use punji sticks, they were called, which were very sharpened bamboo, that if a soldier stepped on it, they would fall down and they would get trapped and cut. Usually soldiers would die from infection and these injuries. Or on the right-hand side, you can see this would be a swinging trap. So they would walk by and something would trigger the trap to swing from the trees, and using those punji sticks, they would hit them in the face or the body, stabbing them and harming American soldiers. The Viet Cong also had a very elaborate tunnel system that they were using. So while they're under the cover of jungle and it's challenging to find them, they could also disappear into these hidden holes where they were able to travel around underground unbeknownst to the American soldiers. You can see how small they are on the right-hand side. They were really just crawling around. They weren't able to stand up and run. They had to crawl through, but they were very effective in getting into different points in fighting against the Americans. One of the things that's used by the United States against the Viet Cong, and also to help us find the Ho Chi Minh Trail, is something known as napalm, or Agent Orange. And Agent Orange. Napalm is like World War II, which we use that gasoline jelly, that sticky fire that was dropped from planes, and it would hit the ground and explode. So this was very useful for us in fighting against the jungles because it caused fire and it exposed a lot. We realized, though, that we're destroying a lot of land, and we are going to convert ourselves into using what we know as Agent Orange. What you're going to see are the effects of Agent Orange on the right-hand side. Agent Orange is an herbicide, which means it's designed to kill plant life, killing leaves. So Agent Orange was very effective in taking away the leaves from the jungle, so it would expose trails, expose where Viet Cong were hiding, and made it easier for our airplanes to find and our Air Force to find where the Viet Cong were hiding. But what we're going to see is this is outlawed. We're going to find that the birth defects, the deformities that are being that are going to be happening later on in life are going to be seen here on the right-hand side. The burning of the skin, as you can see, and the dyeing of the skin on the right, the bottom, are all going to be subject to Agent Orange. These are some of the famous photos of the use of napalm in South Vietnam. You can see young children on the right-hand side who had just been burned after a napalm attack. Their clothes disintegrated, their skin burned and melted from those fires. On the left-hand side, you can just see how casually and how used to South Vietnamese people, citizens, were used to seeing Viet Cong dead in the streets or soldiers dead in the street, that death was just a part of their lives because this conflict goes on for so long. And then these are some examples of the weapons. Sorry, the bell rang. So I will pick up next time with this slide.